Happy New Year, Virgo. Here we go. Finally, we are out of 2020. All right. We're going to take a look at just where you have been, what, 2020 was all about, where you felt stuck in your own personal sense of lockdown, and how this is now opening up and allowing you to get into the new year of 2021 in such a great way. So if we take a look at your fifth house, this is where it was difficult for you to actually, arrange those things of your fifth house activities, which is self-expression, it's creativity, it's children. You might have seen that there's been a lot of changes going on with your children, grandchildren could be too, or also that the slowdown really worked for you to get up and running with your own self-expression, your creativity. Maybe because the external world was kind of like shut to you, you had to go internally and find those talents, those skills, those things that make you happy. But having Saturn and Pluto there, it's like, oh, that kind of probably did squish a little bit of that joy and happiness. But you know what? All that now has lifted. That Jupiter and Saturn is out of this area. If you look at the fifth house, Jupiter and Saturn is now in the house that you rule, sixth house Virgo, right? So this should really be expanding your horizon. And what do you as Virgos love to do? You love to organize, right? You're feeling the flow is returning and coming back. And I can see how your day-to-day routine is going to be changing up. Meaning, cutting back, and I think 2020 was all about that, teaching you, giving you insights on what you need to cut back on so that you could be freer. And that's the upside of that difficult energy. Now you're feeling like you got wings to take off, and you are, trust me, Jupiter, anything it touches, it comes in with abundance. Jupiter is very generous. What is it going to be generous about? Time, right? Sixth house, your day-to-day routine. Now that you have purged, cut back, pruned, now you're looking at, what do I want to do now that I can, right? Because you were restricted, held back, right? And of course that create a lot of that internal frustration, right? But now as that is leaving you, you're like, oh, this is what I'm going to do now. This is how I'm going to use my time. So it is hard when facets are polished on our inner diamonds. Of course, that work, that friction is hard, but once it's done, it's glorious, it's brilliant. And this is your brilliance now being brought to your new day today. Jupiter is going to be here for a full year. Do know that it only comes around this area once every 12 years. So make the most out of it, because whatever you're doing now, putting down in your routine, it's going to carry you, not just for the year Jupiter is present, but it's going to carry you for the next 12 years in this roundabout until Jupiter comes back again. So this is important, and Saturn's going to keep you very sober in that, because as Jupiter wants to expand, Saturn wants to restrict and hold back. But here I don't think you're going to feel it as a frustration. What I feel Saturn is going to be doing for you is keeping you real, keeping you grounded, what is important, just so you don't go over the edge, because Jupiter is so happy-go-lucky, it'll jump right off the cliff looking at an opportunity because it's so just in the moment, right? So you are moving along in a very beautiful way to expand your life, to be able to get more value out of your time. Saturn's going to make sure that you're settling in. Saturn has just entered 1 degree when we start off the year. It comes around to this portion of your chart once every 28.5 to 29 years. Right? So the foundation here that Saturn is working on is keeping your eyes on what you are settling as a foundation. It's going to give you 2.5 years to master this area. Jupiter will be long gone, but Saturn's going to remain. So in that 2.5 year period, you're actually setting yourself up for the next, say, 29 year cycle. I can see how many of you might take to a little bit more of technical devices this year. This is because they're both transiting through the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about the future. You're going to be very future oriented and technologically more adept because it's all about technology, meaning that could be the internet, whatever it is, where you're going to focus on technology to help you create more time, more space, to become more efficient. And, you know, you're so good, Virgo, to actually think in the way of organizing your life. That is a gift that you're born with, right? So put this to your new advantage and you will see how it is going to come to behoove you. But another thing that we want to focus on here in 2021 is the action direction of Mars. Why Mars? We could focus on so many other planets, but you know, some of them move quickly, some of them longer. I'm going to focus on Mars because that is our drive. That is the dedicated energy that we put towards our goals. It's what gets us out of bed every morning with the goals that we have. It's that primus energy, that motor that kind of pushes us. And so normally Mars, take a look here at the 8th house. Normally it moves through a sign or a house in 6 weeks. Mars was stuck 6 months, right? Because it retrograded there all summer into autumn of 2020. And that feeling of being stuck here, what was its message? It was looking at values, not necessarily money as an income, but money or security that you set aside, right? What is important to you. So maybe you've been focusing extra on how do I save money? Where do I invest money? You know, is my 401k doing good? All those things. Commissions, royalties. You've had extra time to look at this side, but also the values that you hold with your partner. Are those values good, or have they been a battle? Mars can be wanting to battle too, right? So if that was good for you to get that going and set, then you are good to go. It's only going to be here until January 7th, okay? So you've had from summer into January 7th to get this straight between you and your partner. Shared finances, shared resources, all of that. Because then it's going to move into your 9th house. This is where you're going to feel liberated from that 2020 energy that held you back. Now, the 9th house is higher thinking or higher education. It's what we want when we ask the right questions to ourselves. Because when we ask questions to ourselves, what happens? We open up for the universe to respond and then puts us on a search, which sets us up for synchronicity, which allows us to gain insights of those things that we are questioning. So keep your questions, keep your mind open. January 7th through March 5th. This also indicates higher education. Some of you might want to take a course, sign up for a class, but it's also travel. And since it's the 9th house type of travel, this area is international. So some of you might want to take the wings, go off to Europe, somewhere else, vacation time, which could be really, really good. And then when Mars and Uranus meets, Uranus is that box of chocolate. You never know what you get. It is the wild card. It can be good, like a big, huge wow factor, OMG. It could also be the opposite, where there's, oh my God, you know, situations coming together that might rattle our very perception of reality in life. You know, earthquakes are ruled by Uranus, right? We got this energy with Mars, put those two together, but it can also open up this OMG of opportunity. You want to check that out, though, because Uranus, like Mercury, rules time, which is linear time. Uranus, on the other hand, is dimensional, interdimensional time, which speeds up the time factor. So you could come to feel like you've got a rocket engine super bursting you forward, which is great. But we're moving on to, once you've had this area down, your focus, your Mars is going to be all about your career. That career energy will be, excuse me, from March 5th to April 24th. So use those weeks. You can see how quickly that goes, right? Just those few weeks. And here you were stuck for 6 months, right? So you got 6 weeks to focus on your career. What is it you want? And how can you feel that you could drive those goals home? Because the 10th house is not just career, it's also the goals that we hold for ourselves, where we're propelling ourselves upwards and onwards. In the sign of Gemini, it's also curious. It wants to know. It will question, right? So use that to your best opportunity. When it moves into Cancer, that will be April 24th and go to June 11th. Now, this is an area where you're going to be catching up a lot on social activities. Your circle of friends, your tribe. Maybe you haven't had that much time to hang out in 2020 due to COVID and restrictions and whatnot, but you will definitely find time now because you're going to be pushing for it. You're going to make it happen. So Virgo, not only that, the 11th house is also what we call the area of hopes and dreams. Dream big. Every 2 years, you get 6 weeks to kind of go and pluck those dreams, right? So if you start early, before this time frame starts, those dreams can already be there waiting for you to be plucked, right? If not, at least then you have those 6 weeks to visualize and then to manifest and then go harvest. So you got that at least. But yes, Mars is going to be very busy with your tribe, moving into then a period of just wanting to rest, to pull back a little bit, just to veg. A great time for you to do so and watch Netflix and rest up because, boy, you know, ever since Mars was here, you have been one busy bee. When Mars works in the background, which the 12th house represents, that will be for you in Leo, June 11th to July 30th. So midsummer. Do what is good for you. Meditate. This is a very silent place. Mars is working what I call behind the scenes, you know, so it's more our subconscious and whatnot. And try to listen. Try to communicate with what is going on inside of that consciousness, in your subconsciousness, so that once you have that new grip, watch it when it goes over your horizon, right here on the ascendants. Mars is powering up because what it's actually doing is shutting down on a 2-year cycle, right? It takes 2 years. So that quiet time is you wrapping up that journey. That's why you want to meditate, want to reflect. Where have I been? What have I done? What have I accomplished? What do I want to do? That to do thing, when it passes over your horizon, that's when the world will see you coming back with energy to provide, to share. You will be noticed, seen, and that first house is all about the I am energy. It's who we are, right? So it's what we want, what I want, what do I desire, what do I need, you know. So that Mars is going to be building up all that energy for all you Virgos, and it's coming out with a big blast beautifully. This will last from July 30th through September 16th. Here is it going to be all about you. It's that little tiny corner of the year where you can feel a little bit more narcissistic, a little bit more self-centered, you know, and then get on with it, because you are somebody who always has other people's needs, you know, in mind, always serving other people. Now, this is a time where you want to focus on serving, giving back to yourself. This is going to empower you for the rest of the journey around that chart, where Mars is just expending all that energy outward. Right now, you need it for you. So pay attention to that. July 30th, September 16th. Moving right along, now we're going to be looking at finances. Getting all your ducks in a row. attracting more money, looking where that money is going to go. Because not only are you going to be a magnet and attract more income, but we also want to be a little careful for all the money going out, because Mars wants to splurge when it's here. And sometimes it's good. Sometimes we have to splurge, right? We don't really get that big a shot of it other than that little slice, those few weeks every other year. You might just say, I can do this. I can do it because money is coming in, which it is with Mars in this area. Now, this is going to be from September 16th straight through October 31st. This is a great time to ask for a raise if you haven't got it already, or a promotion. To have any kind of financial talks is going to be good at this time. Then we're kind of moving into the third house of communication. It's what you communicate, how you communicate, where you communicate, where you present that communication. Super important. Pay attention, because it's going to be in the sign of Scorpio, meaning this is deep communication. It's what your soul is holding. And, you know, some of that, you know, for you guys, you hold it back because your deepest inner self is secret to you, right? Scorpio likes those secrets. So in the overall norm, it takes a lot of trust for you and another person to actually open up with those most intimate thoughts, feelings, and so forth. But you're going to see that Mars is going to flush that straight to the surface. Be ready for this dynamic energy to pick up and want to express. You're going to want to express. So this is really good. And if you're prepared for it, if you're giving any presentations, if you, for example, are an author, you like to write, you're going to get some of the most deepest thing throughout the whole 2-year period that you can bring up, put on paper, or present, bring out to your tribes or whoever is there to listen. So it's a very intimate, deep, genuine, and a little bit of a nervous time, because what if you can't trust? You know, there's a trust issue here when Scorpio shows. Can you trust who you're sharing your secrets with? So that's going to be tested. This period is October 31st to December 14th. And then come December 14th to the end of the year, Mars is moving through this area, the 4th house, which is who you are on the inside. It's your foundation. It's your home. It's your family. Mars is going to really want to super focus on your family right now. Catch up with them. And of course, you know, it is the time of celebrations and so forth. End of the year preparations are going to be busy, 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 because Mars is that primer motor, right? And so you might find yourself cleaning up, clearing out, rearranging furniture, getting new paint on the wall, whatever projects have been waiting for you to get to. Normally you are very organized, so I can't imagine your homes having like stuffed areas that need to have it clear out. But watch you. You're really going to give it all this year, and especially there from December 14th and straight to New Year. And that is where Mars is going to pick up on New Year's 2022. With Mars in this area where you're feeling that your foundation is solid, good, clear, ready for you. So when we see the overall of your chart, we have you having a whole new routine opening up, expanding for you, setting you free. It's like the bird out of the cage. If you listen also to the other two charts, the moon and rising sign chart, you will see where this Jupiter is going to be expanding your life. So it's not just in this area. Your moon chart, it will show up in a different area, and you definitely want to know where that is going to grow and expand. And then your rising sign chart reading will also show there where also Jupiter is going to open up doors for you. So we got 3 charts really showing great things coming in, Virgo. Be sure to check them out, and I'd say go listen to your partner's chart, see where he or she will also be having this new joyful, expansive energy coming in. Just so you could see how compatible the two of you will be. So thank you for watching, checking in. I'll see you next month on the next forecast. So have a good one. Bye now.